Let's see, does that work? Lost my stream here. There we go. All right. It sounds like we have sound again. I had some annoying computer issues yesterday. But we're back. All right. See if we can get this to flush through this overnight low now that I'm actually paying attention to the charts and not messing with my microphone. Previous day highs would be nice to kind of whip through here to fade for the short as well. I do like that there's an idea that the overnight highs are the all-time highs, and the all-time highs don't like to be touched during overnight sessions and just left alone. Let's see if we can catch something here. A little bit, a little bit of movement here, a little bit of delta divergence, a little bit of something. The overnight low breakdown would be nice too. Just right off, short that down into this purple zone here, the 600 level. Opening range is about, the 60 ticks here. So you could kind of risk the opening range breakdown and be safe here. But I do want to watch everything kind of play out. Russell's bouncing. See, these are things I don't know until I get on the stream, and then you find out that your sound's not working, and then you lose everybody. So hopefully everybody comes back. Alrighty, hopefully it's working now. It's consistent. Something happened with either my graphics card or my motherboard or something shorted or whatever. It was just not booting at all. My computer usually just stays on. Came in last night for the overnight to look at some charts and whatnot, and I did not have any sort of computer capacity. So I thought I fixed at least the booting issue. That was good, but apparently that didn't help enough because the microphone got all corrupted. Hopefully the mic works good now and I'm not messing anything up. 687 just got reclaimed. There's a little pop. Nvidia pushing upside. Like I mentioned, I kind of felt that the all-time highs don't like to get made in pre-market. So I think that we're going to have a better time looking for some sort of fade from the highs if we can get up in there. If we can get up at least into that previous day high area, holding below that VWAP. 67% long. Look to get through this low here as well. I'll start using these levels. Quant Tower. If we want to call this the overnight low, we can, but we leave this as previous day close is down here somewhere. I'm going to use that as the area of interest for the overnight, although I think 87 is the real line in the sand there. Right there. Previous day close is up in here. We call that the close of the day. Russell ticking downside, leading us downside a bit. S&P's just cracked through the VWAP, pushing up into the higher range of the opening range. So watch that. Nvidia running its head right up against 953.62. which is that area that we were talking about pre-market, even though you couldn't hear what I was saying. And that's how you lose a bunch of viewers based on purely not being able to be heard, right? The market strength, there's nothing saying that it won't continue to be strong. So these all-time high levels are very difficult to pick out levels, pick out areas that you'd be interested in. So you kind of got to work around stuff that's already out there. Flush of 87, kind of, I like that area. That reaccepts us back into the opening range. We could probably short down through into that opening range through to the opening range low, with Russell just kind of melting off to the downside. The S&P and the NQ are upside. I'm going to take a shot at this. If it goes reaccept back into the opening range, I'll take the short, try to see if I can get us down to the overnight low. Trying to see if this heavy long tilt gets us into some shorts. Looks like we're going to trigger it into the short. Possibly. I had it a little bit away from that 87 level because I think that could act as support. But if that 87 level does flush, I want to take the short down through into the overnight low. Nope. Gonna take that off. Didn't react right there like I wanted to based on the tilt and all that stuff. So that's really what I was looking at. Heavier tilt to the long side. Wanted to kind of fade that a bit. Didn't really get any sort of follow through on the tilt to the downside. So, alrighty. Let's see. I'm going to try and just find that area that gets reactive. Get that selling point. 75% long. I think that retail getting long is pretty important in this. You could risk $170. That's a cheap trade there. If this gets tilty, I like that short. Previous day high would be nice to kind of wick. $30-minute candle just popped above the previous 30, broke above some previous support, some resistance there at 18,694. 694. So we are pushing up into the higher end of that range from yesterday when it got into here and kind of consolidated a bit. Like I mentioned, there is a chance that 77% tilt. That's heavy tilting to the long side. We kind of recovered that, kind of whipped in here. See if that wick gets people involved on the longs. There is a high volume node here at 700 that's likely to get tagged. There it is. Push into a key, nice round number. Now you're going to try and break down through this previous day close. If it doesn't break that, then the rotation kind of keeps coming on to the high side. You need to try and break and accept below value from the overnight session. I'm going to risk cheap above this. I'm not going to risk above the whole thing, but I'm going to give it a shot through here, down through, and see if I can get a flush down through to the overnight low. And then see if I can get through that quick, and then I could trail and then hold that overnight low as my trailing stop. With an idea of down into 640 would be cool. $87.50 holding again. 71% long. Delta pushing towards our direction. Probably gets right to 82 if it does break that 87.50. That is a key support level, so it seems like if it does break, then we should get a decent heaviness to it. NVIDIA at its highs, I think we can reject this zone at least to short us down a bit. Down through 87.50 could put us down into 18,666s. Kind of where it went to right here, the overnight low. Still very strong, holding up here. I'm shorting this 18,687.50 level, seeing if I can get through that. If we pop the high here at 700, then I'm going to be out. Actually going to be out sooner than that. I don't want to get to 700. I want to be out. I'm out. I'm flat on that. I'm not trying to fight that short. Didn't want to risk the full 3. That's what happens when I avoid my levels. Well, that is a key level, I should say. So it is holding above that key level of support, that previous area right before all-time highs. NVIDIA just cracked that 953.62 level. 700 going to act as that resistance. Was I one candle too early? I was one tick too early. I should have just left my stop down here below 86 like I had before. I would have never got triggered into that. Shit happens. Wait for the setup at the previous day highs. Possibly wait for the overnight highs to hit. You're starting to see some support now get developed here. See if it runs into VWAP. See if we can get some sort of higher low. I mean, a lower high here. Just wick through that previous day high. Give it that old cleanup right here. Push through it. I mean, technically, I guess. Yeah, that's after that open. You got some whippy action there. That heavy tilt to the long side concerned me. It's kind of what helped me get into that trade there. That's why I got out when I did. I could have tightened up even more. Honestly, once it popped back above this previous day close, it was probably a good idea to get out. You can see price starting to speed up here. The tape's speeding up some. I think maybe if we do flush after this little whippy action, you could get some good moves to the downside. So a short through 689 could be useful. Let's see, short through 689. I think this is going to get heavy fast if it does go. I'll give it to it one time more. With that tight risk. That's that previous day close below 93. Very strong whippy candles. Prices speeding up. Liquidity is being grabbed here. If it's going to pop, we'll see. If it's going to fail from here, we'll also see. I think this is probably like that quick little liquid grab and go. Let's want to see S&Ps lead us to the downside. It would help our conviction here. Although NVIDIA just popped up into a key level of like an area of liquidity, could pop and straight go right through it, and then that carries this NQ straight to the upside. Relative strength, that is pretty strong. Let's see if Microsoft is following as well. Microsoft sold off nice and heavy from 425.45. So let's see if it gets down through 422. NVIDIA not carrying us up as much as Microsoft is holding us back a bit. What's the news on Microsoft? Anything? No. rising wedge type pattern here. If I can get up into that previous day high, it'll give us even better trade location, so I won't be mad at that. Because if we do wick through that previous day high, I will get short from that previous day high area. Which is previous all-time high levels. If it gets through this, I would not be surprised if it squeezes up into that area, up into here, 720s. Let's see. See if we can catch a short here, get ourselves back to even, and then, like one good trade here is all I want. One good trade to set up for me. This is exactly what I look for as far as an area where I'm interested in a short. The type of pattern it's kind of creating with that tightening price action. Could get a wick off at the previous day high. That's why I want to be cautious on it. But if it could go quickly, it would be very nice. Just tag the previous day high. Watch for it to squeeze above it. Strong delta push to the high side, right through the previous day high, holding above VWAP now. If it fails this previous day high and fails 700, then that could lead to some selling. But I do think, as I mentioned, that markets tend to not like making new all-time highs in the pre-market. They like to clean that up. So if we re-accept into this range here, then potentially that overnight high gets tagged. If it fails that range, that'll give us, the conviction to continue to short down through into the overnight low. That's just the way it will go. It's kind of either or. It's either overnight high or overnight low. Which one gets tagged? And if the overnight high gets tagged, how high up do we go? Do we squeeze through the overnight high and just continue to rip, or do we fail it and come back down to earth a bit after that information? So I would like one more high push up through, maybe even through that high. But if it can't, then I will look to get short where I'm at. Microsoft caught a little bit of a bounce there. Nvidia rejecting. Give me that one more push up, maybe even into, let's call it 12 to 15. Push up into 12 to 15, then I'll set my short through that previous day high. The opening range long still playing out nicely. Opening range was here. Waited for it to kind of consolidate and then give you a good break above it. Now you're looking at it to go along to the VWAP, which it just did. And now you're kind of just trailing to see how far you can go with that opening range. Short through 704. Short through VWAP. Do I trust the VWAP to not act as support, though? That's the concerning part here for my strategy. Delta still strong. Price trying to push up. Not quite getting there with the Delta. You're going to get a little bit of a... There we go. Price trying to go again. I wanted to get up to like 712, 715 before I consider even setting that short idea below, because I don't have that target to VWAP. I got to get through VWAP, and I got to get down into the overnight low as my short idea plays out. The Russell is getting heavy, so that is sort of helping us out. Nvidia is getting heavy as well. Could take a cheap short here and just risk to the new high, but I will be. Yeah, I'm gonna take it through there. If it goes, it goes. I'll put it down to 703. I don't want to get wicked in at VWAP. Take the cheap short, see what happens with it. Lack of follow through that previous day high level gives me the indication that the short wants to come in. Does it come in now, though, is the question, or does it wait? I'm going to go with it goes now. So I will enter below that 703 level. If we pop up the high, then I will pop my entry right below the overnight previous day high here. There we go. We're short, risking just above this swing high here. I call it a cheap short. I just believe that it's limited risk here. If I risk the 100 and change on it, then it's okay, right? That was really a good liquidity grab there for it to go back up to the high side. Right to 700. Those are the things that should be keeping me away from this. However, I do think that there's still a chance that the heaviness does come back. Nice delta push to the downside, still trying to get heavy. You can see the delta acting with us a little bit, you know, not fighting the trend, but it could give us one more pop up and then we're done. These all-time high levels always give me a little bit of fits, especially because it's just all brand new levels, right? Could it go down from here? It could. This is why I took the short. That's why I'm holding it. Is it going to stop me out? Probably give me a little wick out, then run our stops to the downside. All right, so we're down 4. We have one good trade left in us. Still think that there is a good chance that this short rotation happens, but I'm going to wait a second here. Just wait. That was a nice liquidity grab down to 700. Holding VWAP, rotating higher. Still has plenty of room to the upside to go. And we are doing great this last 2 weeks. There's a little bit of a delta divergence, right? Delta trying to pop and price saying, no, we're not doing that. So is this the secondary flush breakdown of our level, or are we going to hold and continue to rally? S&P, as you can see, is basing. The NQ has just been kind of a straight rally to the high side. So something is diverging here. There's got to be some difference in price. Microsoft wanting to curl over again. This could be the good area to short through the previous day high again. If the memes are catching a bid, then maybe we can catch a short on the NQ. There we go. Come on, get heavy this time. This time we should be able to get heavier. If we break through 700, should give you the heaviness back into the market here. See how far down we can get. Can we get into that overnight low? I want to get down into the overnight low. If I can't get previous day high to fail, if this is going to be another liquidity grab, then I'm going to be out. But the way that got heavy that fast seems like it wants to continue downside, holding below VWAP, understanding that GME is giving a little bit of a pump. Usually if those memes are going to get some pumps, the market's going to go the other way. I would guess, based on the divergence yesterday. Gonna risk that $100. $700 strong, huh? There's a buyer there at 7. Microsoft getting heavy. I mean, trying to sell off from there. Nvidia, not so much. Nvidia holding up just over that 953.62. Kind of holding us up here. There's like a buyer here that just doesn't want to go. It seems like he's building up for like either an explosive move to the high side or a big failure. And I don't, I'm going to be out on this and be done for the day. Jeez, just kind of not getting my push down. Seems like it wants to run up. 100 lot got filled at 13. 100 lot got filled. So 200 lots got filled over above 713 on the buy side. Does this not want to get heavy? Rough go at it the last few weeks. Now I'm just going to try and battle it back a little bit now due to my drawdown area. I'm going to take maybe one more shot at this short in a better location, maybe down through 700. Although that could be a nice lick grab there. Holding that high, holding that previous day high, wick off high. The VWAP's there. That's kind of just hurting our chances. If this previous day high was away from the VWAP, if we were not on top of VWAP, I would be a lot more confident in that trade working out on the third go at it. Just don't quite see it there now at this point. After getting knocked out of it twice. It wants to give up. Buyers are strong. I mean, that's just really all there is to it. That 86, 87.50 level acted pretty strong as support. 87.50 right there in that area. We broke down, we flushed it, we held below it, and then once that range, we chopped out of it. Once we popped and broke above it, 87.50 has been a pretty key level. So watch it. If it does come back down into it, watch for it to be the area of interest. The lack of follow through to the high side really does get me interested in my short ideas. Nvidia back down below 953. Delta's still trying to pop its head up while the price is trying to push down. There are more aggressive buyers than sellers in this area at the moment. It did appear both times that I was going to get some follow through on this move and just didn't. Probably should have had my entry closer to the high and then been at break even on those a little bit quicker. Just that draw to VWAP. Let's see if this thing pops or if you get a heaviness in it. Price is just doing a confused dance, right? Because that's yesterday's high. That's previous all-time highs. Are we playing an all-time high breakout to get back to the new all-time high, to clean that up, to create a new all-time high during market hours, and then return back down? Or are we going to pull back, get more bids down here, and then run us back up? I mean, with the heaviness in NVIDIA, it convinces me that I want to go short through here.
Order filled.
Fuck it. We're short at 701. God damn. That's what happens when you try to chase it. You don't let your level actually be your entry. Your risk becomes your entry point, where it could have been free trade. Now I'm looking at a stop out potentially. If it goes from here, great, but I don't like to chase it like that. I am short. We did get another sweep there of that low. Should try and be able to continue on. If it's going to get heavy, it's going to get heavy quickly. And I wanted to see it get down into 87, potentially prior to getting any sort of bounce reaction. You could see how heavy it wants to get. You can see Delta pushing. Previous day close at, I put that there at 94.50. There is a high volume node here at 700, right? That's where we're at. Orders love to be executed around here. Is the harder trade long or harder trade short? I think the harder trade is long, but I'm still trying to go short on it. Do we leave the previous day high at the previous day highs? Or do we flush, buy the ticket, take the ride, right? But to no avail. Alrighty.
Order filled.
I am just totally not seeing it. So we're going to flatten all here. We're going to relax. We're going to hang tight, let the market do its thing, and go from there. Quite disappointing over the last few weeks on how I've been able to read executions, because I've been able to read the market really well, right? I know the levels are reactive. I know things are going to kind of move the way that they are, and then I don't allow myself the opportunity to capitalize on them. And I could just see I'm just paper cutting myself to death into pretty much not having this account ready to go. So I'm going to switch to micros. See what happens here with these levels. There's the flush. Fantastic. We love our timing right now, right? I'm seeing the market so well, executing so poorly. Just annoying, to be honest with you. This is the realities of this job that I'm choosing here to play with. I'm not going to chase the move. I know I have one more bullet left in the gun for a full contract. So I'm going to switch over to my combine here. I caught a trade in the overnight on the combine. I took the short from up in here, ended up taking off 2 contracts somewhere in this range, and then it whipped me out for a break even on the rest of the position. So there's the flush. Really nice move from that previous day high. If you were able to be just calm with it and not stop yourself out a dozen times, a stop over that 15 area, once you took that short there, never in any trouble, easily up on this trade. So just there's the 87 level, got flushed. Now it's looking to grab it. Yeah, I'm kind of not happy with how I executed. It's great to watch the levels and see your price action happen after you're just fed up with it. It's good to see price action still doing what we're doing. So, and I mean, we're not wrong. We're not our analysis is pretty spot on. So very happy with that call there. I hope somebody capitalized on it. The short through that level. Watching this lower high here. I got 1 bullet left in the gun, so I need to kind of get a few bullets back so I can take a few more chances. So today's going to be a battle day. Love when my levels work to a charm, and I do not. So frustrating. So you did get some? Yeah, my drawdown is tight currently. Might look to see if that's going to be a sweep of that 85, a break of this previous day high. I might go long through the previous day high if that's going to be the sweep like I called out yesterday. Could be the next leg to... Hell yeah. I want to see this thing go straight up. Give myself a chance here to take a base hit or get back what I lost. Get myself recentered. Not have the drawdown get in my head. We'll see if Delta will pop off on this. ES just swept that low really, really nicely and is rotating back up. If S&Ps could get over that opening range high, I think you get a nice little pop in everything. Microsoft still holding on lows. Nvidia also trying to make new lows, but also did sweep that pre-market low. So potentially look to see if it'll pop its head back up to 953. If it continues and holds below 948.90, then this market continues downside. Get rid of that. That's not cool. Alrighty. S&Ps, like I said, looking to pop its head back up over its previous all-time high, over that VWAP. NQ not getting there yet. This is that area that I'm interested in. I love to see people making some money, hopefully passing some combines, hopefully not executing the way I am, as tight as I am. So we're going to look to try and get ourselves dug out of this hole a bit. Like I said, there's no reason to fully risk this. So let's go with MNQ. We're going to go with the 5 so I could get my levels set here. Previous day high. And then previous day low is all the way down here. Okay. Those are my levels. Plus VWAP. Technically, that should be 707, I think. No, 706.75. All right. We can take a half position size with micros. Ooh. And be confident in our risk a little bit better. Start to dig ourselves out of the hole here. See what kind of market action we get. I really liked that short through there. That would have been the hit of the day. Waited for it, entered twice, 3 times, got stopped out, decided to not enter the last time, and that's when it went. So be it. Get out of the 5, get back to the 1. And I wicked myself on the last one. Could have left it alone, but can't when you don't have the drawdown for it. S&P is pushing up nicely. So if we can get a pop over this overnight high, I think we can get some momentum up there. I'm not overnight high, previous day high. We could get a momentum buy break up to that all-time high and see if it'll clean up some of that. And I'm going to use this micro account to give it a shot. failing the 700 level. Point of control is right here. And this one right here, I saw price speed up here, right? I was talking about how price action got fast. You started to see a bit of momentum. A failed breakout when there's a lot of orders hitting the tape at that area tells you that there's a likely scenario of either a reversal or continuation. With the failed breakout, then you do get that confirmation to say, hey, okay, I can go short through this low. I should be able to risk to the high here and be fine. And, you know, you would have been just fine right there. If you would have shorted through there, risking to the high, it's technically only, you know, $200 of risk for, you know, $600 downside. It's a 3-to-1 that you would have been able to call it pretty much cleanly if you just had a little bit more patience than I do. But now we're starting to build up. S&P is giving you nice breaks. Let's see if the NQ is going to follow us if we break through this white line here. I'm going to trade it with a micro, with 5 micros on micro contracts, because I have drawn myself down to a point where I'm not confident in any good ideas with my full contracts. That would be over leveraging a very tight risk. The liquidity grab down at 87 on this 30-minute candle especially does tell me that there's some ability to push up higher. Like I think through that 708.50 level is that close of that previous 30-minute candle. If you get up over this one, then the squeeze probably comes in right up to those highs. Oh, yeah. Once again, the ideas play out, right? I talked about the opening range breakout to the high side, probably looking to clean up some of this overhead mess before trying to short. Should have either not traded that first entry there, waited for this mess, and then tried to short that as many times as possible before getting filled. But all I need to do is wait for this wick and then not trail that stop until I actually started getting some moves in my direction. That was just poor management of that trade. NVIDIA trying to catch up above that level, that 91, 948, 90. So it's peeking its head up above it, kind of just dancing with it. If it does get above and hold and then gets into that 50 area, then I expect this NQ to start to push up as well. I think that the NVIDIA push through the lows kind of traps some shorts and could look to get long once again. A lot of these all-time high rallies, they do like to do it a few times before, fizzling out. Low volume node here at 704 should flip into 705. If it seems like that's where it's grabbing its liquidity from up above at 704, 705. Delta's creeping down, price is creeping up. There's another divergence there, so potentially watching this VWAP as a resistance area due to the way that Delta's not following through for those high side pushes. But S&P's pushing straight up on the 5. This could lead to the lack of follow through with that push of the Delta to the downside, like for it to follow and catch up. Maybe that break of our level gives a strong pop, and then Delta flips and starts to catch up. Watch the aggressive sellers switch in. There's the push up. Now we're probably going to get triggered in. Delta tried to pop with it. No, that's not good. Well, we're going to end up losing the account on this if it does fail. So that'll be that for this funded account. We did a nice little 30 days on it. About. Took out 800 bucks. Still net positive on the account. Hopefully this can break through and squeeze a little bit here on me. And then we don't. I'll use VWAP as my area of stop below 700. So then maybe I could take one more tiny little shot at another trade. You can see Delta just not playing around. It's a good idea for the secondary short idea. Over the last few weeks, I've kind of got away from my simplicity. It's really kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is. With 5 micros on, I could scale out of a position, so I'll probably take one off if I do get into this up to, at 20. Stop sell, limit sell at 20. No. Yeah, maybe. Should squeeze up a bit now. I'm actually going to wait to take that one off. And I'm going to get to break even. Let's see if it doesn't come back to that. If it does, at least we take a nice little break even trade, get ourselves the idea of it coming back. Start taking small profits, but just trading the price action. I feel like we can get a push up into the 20s. Does it fail this level though and then run right down? Give me my great Delta divergence setup. No, Delta's pushing with price right now. Sometimes you just got to take some of these little base hits. There's that 20 level tagged. There's the squeeze to 20. Hopefully, if you are trading full minis, you can get yourself some off. There's that nice little quick $47 winner. We'll take that. Give ourselves another micro trade to take. I said that that 20 level is likely to get tagged. It came up and ticked it right there. The high of that candle is 20 to the tick. I got a lot of mosquito bites. It's mosquito season here in Texas. avoid hammering back in. There's 20 again. Like I said, I felt like this sweep of 87 could get you long and then squeeze up and see what happens at that all-time high. Again, I could have held this here to go at break even. Probably would have been just fine, but realistically, I'm not in the mindset of holding at the moment because nothing that I have done is followed through. But that's another nice, higher low there, sweep of an area that was important, that 87.50 level right up into through previous day highs. Now the squeeze could be on. I would be watching that for sure. All right, let's see what we can do with these micros. See if we can battle back some. I got long in there at 708, got out at 713 on that wick. And then it pushed right into 20, like I mentioned. 20 could be that resistance area. It always acts, 80s and 20s act as resistance. Gotta love when you just run into a string of loser, small little paper cut losers that just beat you up a bit. I'd say, like, if we do stay accepted up in this range, then the chances of breaking through that all-time high are more valid than not. Look for it is a 72% long on the tilt, so there is still caution on if that gets a little bit more tilty, you could see this thing sell off some just to reprieve that tilt. That's not why it sells, but that's an indication that it will. Oh, yeah. Could we get a delta divergence right there? And I mean, I was talking about this too, being the way that delta was acting here. It was trying to push down heavier. You noticed that the price was just not pushing through with it. So the divergence was the other end around, right? So once that long started to kick in, delta started to tick up and started to push through, gave you that extra little added confidence that that break was going to happen and be confident through it up into 20. Like I said, I was going to try and take 2 off there. Anyway, I mean, realistically, probably end up in the same boat as far as P&Ls are concerned if I would have took 2 there and waited. But we are still kind of just dancing around. You can see a little bit of a wick here on the delta. Price tried to push up, failing that 20 level. We have a key zone here. that volume area right there from 716 to 723. It's just so difficult for me when like I said, I'm a levels trader. Nvidia is failing that 953.62 level, so that's another good idea for this to pull back just a touch, catch a quick little grab, quick base hit, get back into it a little bit. I think we push into the all-time highs. I mentioned that earlier. I could have just waited for this. This is the most frustrating part here, is missing this move after taking my shot at it twice, and the second time being wicked out. That trade right there was, let's call it, I saw this candle here, got entered in just below that candle there, and stopped myself out right on that. For some reason, let's see, what was that candle there? That's 901. That's probably why. And that was why I chased it down. That was that last one. I chased that one down. My true entry was 705 quarters at 857. And that was me breaking my rules, because at 857, I did not want to be. Yeah, that was the problem. I didn't wait for this one. And then when I did see this one, I didn't enter right away. I didn't set my entry at the appropriate spot where my stop would have been correct. Instead, I set it here. I entered down through the lows, got wicked in, wicked out, and then pumped. So that's really the detriment of the day, is not feeling that correct price action. Like I saw it. I talked about how this short comes in here at 706 at the previous day high, and I just didn't execute correctly. So that's just kind of how it goes sometimes. That's how it's been going for me the last 2 weeks. Do we get a base break above 23, or do you get a failure here, rotate back down to 706, then look for some buys as it approaches the VWAP area and this pre-market, the previous day high? Does that indicate that there's going to be a buyer there? Still 70% long. So like I said, when the tilt is heavier long, I feel like retail is getting longer than a lot of these institutions are trying to seek some liquidity. So if they see a lot of long, smaller size traders, they're going to just kind of grab some of that liquidity and move it around a bit. Not that saying that they are looking at individual orders, but they could see order book, they can see order flow. And price action just usually is, most people are mostly wrong. As you can see, even when I'm right a lot, I'm wrong a lot. Watching this key level here, see if you get that good delta push down, or if it's going to give you a bounce here, right? If you can get a nice flush of the previous day high and then a bounce off that VWAP, then a rotation back through that area could lead to that next leg to the high side. Just based on the way market's acting lately. The bids are always kind of coming in here. So much volume in this area. Tons of contracts being executed up here. You can see that the point of control flipped, or it was already there. But that's the most orders have been executed. Obviously you can see up here, this whole entire night session kind of cracked down through that area, flushed into these lows, grabbed some of that liquidity, came back into it, and then rotated right back out of it again. Watch to see if VWAP holds this time. But if you get a little bit of wick action down into here, rotate back up through that previous day high, you could see if that long works out again for you, because you're not getting a heavy delta push. It's starting to try and catch up now a bit, but not quite as much as you would anticipate. And now 30-minute candle wise, I think that 708 is still a pretty important level. Let's see what happens. Let's see. Drawn down quite a bit today on a couple dummy. Didn't follow my rules here. I entered before that hourly close. Didn't even notice it because I kind of just got into I started the day off wrong with my microphone not working, talking for a while. And then right before market open, I got notified that my microphone wasn't working, and that did not allow me to focus in on the open. So I kind of fixed the microphone, got in, then I started to watch this. I talked about how the opening range low held. If we can get a crack above the opening range high, probably rotate up to VWAP up to previous day highs and then see if it goes beyond that. I mentioned a lot about markets hating to leave all-time highs during pre-market, not during the market hours. So another reason for the confidence for the long to kind of come in here and clean up some of this mess. And then I called this wick here short through the overnight, the previous day high, and I wicked myself out, and then it ended up doing what it wanted to do. So the drawdown is pretty much lack of execution, and less so the idea is working out, right? Because I'm going to tell you, over the last week or so, since the beginning of not this Monday, the previous Monday, I have seen the market like exact moves happening over and over and over again. Every level has been precise. The thesis have worked out. Even my write-ups talking about how the price action was going to go from week to week, from day to day even. It just frustrating to execute so poorly when you see the market so well. So that's kind of what happens to me sometimes, where I just get into this funk. I think it's really a lot of because I was trying not to lose. I didn't allow some of these moves to work for me, and that's just my drawdown issue, right? So I think if you can recognize that for yourself as far as when it comes in, then maybe take a step back, lower your size a bit, and then just let your moves play out, because they do work. They work time and time again. Time again. There's a nice big delta push from that bottom. Maybe a crack of this level here gives you a nice squeeze through the highs. I'll try that with this micro. Take a 2 micro squeeze. Let it dance a bit. Oh, it's 72% long. I'm not taking that. NVIDIA ticking up a little bit in price action to the downside. I say ticking up, but the speed. All right, let's see if we can get some patiently executed moves here. Going half size, even quarter size, and just build into some wins, right? I took a trade there with a half size, $47. Really, you take that with a full contract. That's good for, it's good for $100 with the trail, but probably would have got up into that 20 and took profit right then and there, trailed it up tighter. 69% long. Big delta push. Price didn't pop off, so maybe the push down through the high here gives you a little bit of a thought process on this, grabbing some liquidity here first and then pushing. But you do got a higher low trying to form. This area where the volume point of control is just, I don't like to trade that too much. It would be nice if we cracked above this level because there is less volume, less areas for resistance. It probably pops right up into 737. This pullback gives the idea that they're trying to get some shorts involved. I wouldn't mind it to sweep this low. Kind of want it to hold these lows and then rotate back up and then pop through 24. That's, you get through 24, then you rotate through all-time highs. The tilt ticks up every time it gets closer to the high. 941 here. Still looking at, I think price is just resting here. I think it does want one more leg higher probably. Nothing is exact in this market. Watch the tilt. Tilt is starting to tick up. Price is ticking down. There's just hasn't been followed through to the upside. So I mentioned that down here. I mentioned that tilt was trying to push downside and price was fighting it. So that idea of tilt trying to push up but price saying, no, we're not playing along. If it does catch up, then you're going to get the tilt to kind of, I'm not the tilt, the delta to push up. Price is going to push up. Then you're going to get a nice little pop up. I'll play it small. See if it works. There's Delta trying to pop. Then you're getting a lower high in the Delta. It's pulling back, a little more aggressive in the sellers. Price isn't really speeding up or slowing down. The book is, kind of normal. Now you're starting to get a little bit of a dance here. You can see it's starting to dance a little bit. There's a wick area there. Still looking to get it. If it gets up and above this, I think you do squeeze. You see the Delta now trying to get a little more aggressive with the buyers. Does it just wick you in, wick you out, and pull back? Russell leading us higher. Let's see if it pops up to this over all-time high or not. Delta wicked off the high. Price wicked off the high. You didn't get follow through on that. Wanted to continue to push through this level up into that upper band, up into overnight highs, which is all-time highs. And then wherever it goes from there, it goes from there. I mean, this take profits all the way up here. It's ridiculous. But trying to see if some of these ideas would play out through these levels. Delta, really nice push. Price did not push the same way, but there it goes with the S&P. So maybe that the S&Ps will go right up into its all-time high level. The NQ will follow, but still lagging it to just slightly, right? This is that all-time high. This is that all-time high in the S&Ps. So we're a couple of ticks away. If that breaks through here, does it give it a squeeze or does it fail and reject? Seems like the NQ doesn't want to catch up to it. 77% long tilt, but you could see heavy Delta pushing to the high side. Price is not doing the same thing. Yes, I'm trading micros, so don't worry about the P&L. Obviously, on these trades, we're looking to see what kind of price action we're going to get, see what kind of movement we do gather in this kind of trade opportunity. It seems like maybe the failure could come in right at the top of these candles here. There's so much liquidity there. Get up over these levels. Hopefully pushes through and up into that all-time high. Come on, Delta, push up with us. At least to the upper band of VWAP, which is 735. We are at the value area high right here at 726. So that is the other thing that needs to break and hold above that level. If this 1 minute can't hold this, then we're going to look to cut it probably. I like I said, I like things to move pretty quickly. I'm not here to hold things forever. Especially breakout type moves. S&P just doesn't want to get through it. Do we break this high and then add a contract to it? Just continue to add until we get up to a max contract? I don't think so. I think that this does not like the way it looks. I don't like the way it looks for follow through. With the S&P just fighting that level, fighting it. Once again, 23 to 27. If we can get up into, this is like if we had a full contract on times this times 5, we'd be up, nice little $50 here on this, mitigating our risk. Is the squeeze on? Do we get through that high? How about the high of this wick here? The high of that wick is 35. All right. So now we just let this thing see if it'll go up to that all-time high, squeeze through that all-time high, squeeze through that 35. S&P's wicked above it. Not going, holding at 43.50. Holding 43.50. That was a nice little 10-point winner for you if you would have grabbed that. I think we do have some more upside to go. You see Delta straight up. Price didn't follow through as much as Delta did. So the aggressive buyers are there, but price is still cautious. Still cautious around these levels. Taking back-to-back winners on this with micros, so that's good to see. I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive and try and build my way back out of the doldrums, $20 at a time. If we get through this high here, I'm going to get tighter, take my $20. Take my 10 points. S&P doesn't want to go through that all-time high. It cleaned it up, but with it rejecting, that usually leads to the NQ rejecting its levels. So not usually. Just watching this price action here. I'll let it do its stance. If it cleans up this candle here, then we're going to be out. So see what happens up over those levels, up over these highs of this pre-market trash. 30, like I said, 30 is the key level. There you go. There's that push. So the trade idea works out like clockwork. That wick off high, but didn't quite make it to all-time highs. Does market like to leave all-time highs during market sessions? I think we get wicked out here, but also at the same time, I do believe that at some point we do tag that all-time high. Doesn't like to leave all-time highs during pre-market. So that's why I think that wick there, maybe, I mean, there's a seller there, and we got stopped on it. But that 35 was a really good target for you to kind of grab that and go. But I think all-time highs does still need to get cleaned up before you start to look for shorts. But this is S&P's cleaning up their all-time high. Building our way back, one $20 winner at a time. As I mentioned, I said I'd probably get wicked out here at 30. It's fine. It's a big wicky candle there. But I think all-time highs get popped. What did I take on that? I took 25 bucks. I took it on 2 micros. Could have took the 5 micro trade there, and that would have been that $50 winner. Probably a little bit more because I probably would have took 2 or 3 off at 35. See what we could do with micros. Let's see what kind of power of micros we got going on. Let's do some dirty work. I don't want to do your dirty work. Oh. All right, let's see. Just wait and see kind of price action here. I guess I do believe that all-time highs aren't in yet. I think we do have some more room to push. My patience was there. Everything except for the executions on these stupid trades here. The failure of 87 got me ticked in, even though I wanted to be a little bit lower at 86 or 85. Should have never got executed into that because that just kind of triggered me and I got right out. And then this one, I just had to wait till 9 o'clock closed and I'd have been much better off. So those are 2 different trades that, you see them well, but you place your executions in just poor spots. I'm kicking my computer because it's in the wrong area because I had to fix it. There's a squeeze up over that high for the S&Ps. Probably could catch this to squeeze up through the highs now. I don't know if you're going to be able to buy the highs. I know a lot of people do like to buy all-time highs to see how high they squeeze. I feel a little squeeze coming in. There you go. All-time highs now have gotten cleaned up during market hours. So there is an all-time high in here at market hours. Oh, that's overnight high, all-time high, lots of things, lots of confluence here. Could maybe see one squeeze up through it and then look to see if our strategy will work on the all-time highs or if it's going to just blow through the highs. The power of micros of a short of an all-time high could lead us to going red to green. I'm not going to call it yet, but I think there's a good chance here that we can get a nice little setup, delta divergence type deal here. Pop us through again. Maybe wedge us out a bit. Use this trend line crack plus the overnight high crack. A lot of confluence. Oh, I X'd out of my other chart. Son of a gun. Nope. There we go. Since we're here, we do not have any data left that I'm interested in. Nothing that came out at all, really. Building permits this morning came out a little bit down. Exports ticked up a touch. Initial jobless claims came out 222 as opposed to 225. So jobless claims ticked down. Give me one more push up into that area and I'll look to short that overnight high. Give me like a blow off top type action. Maybe get a little bit more timing to it. Just stair-stepping straight up with Delta, right? Stair-stepping right into those overnight highs. There's going to be a lot of eyeballs on this area, so watch it. S&P is still going up. Russell curling down. S&P is giving you a blow-off type momentum push now, and NASDAQ not. So another divergence there a little bit. There's this push, higher volume. Let's see if we can pop up a little bit more. If S&P curls down at all, then maybe this NQ does go down, but get it. I would be cautious. Be cautious on these all-time highs. Alrighty. There's that push. More volume, 70% long. Get me heavier long. I want more longs getting involved here. So the short through this 38, 39 level is good. Yeah, let's not even bother with that right now. 10-point win right there, right through the overnight high, through all-time highs. Is this going to be an all-time high squeeze to who knows how high? You can see there's nothing next to us, nothing to our left, nothing to our right. Blue skies up ahead. And I think a failed breakout of this does give us a nice heavy sell-off, but it's got to be timed correctly. It can't just be immediate. We need to see some sort of action. It's 9:59, so I can't enter until 10. Let this 10 o'clock number come in and see if I can get a short down through, not number, but just 10 o'clock period. I'll stop sell 2 and then I'll add to it if it does continue into my favor. Down through 30 makes sense to me to add micros. The hourly close above all-time highs, 30-minute close, overtime. Obviously, everything's going to be closing up over these all-time highs. That gives people a lot of ammunition to want to try and buy, which also gives some of us the
inclination that sells want to come in as well. So buying through all-time highs, yes, makes sense, which is weird to say, but also at the same time, it does give me the information to say we could possibly take this thing the other way because we've now cleaned up that all-time high on markets hours. Like I said, I like this tightness here. Let's call it this one. With all-time highs being tagged, NVIDIA not following through the same way you would expect it to, right? So NVIDIA not following through. It's starting to tick up, but not like, not heavy push. Microsoft also not doing much. Apple still kind of middle of the range. So the individual names themselves aren't pushing this in any sort of direction. It's purely just the break of all-time highs, and it's acting on its own terms. So because the names aren't getting dragged up with it, any sort of selling that comes in, I think these names start to pull back some. And then if the names start to pull back some, does that help drag us down? That's really what I'm looking to see, what we can get going on it. Like I said, I'm risking just 2 micros to start and see if I could get sellers to kind of pull into this. Maybe I could start to get more on down through these levels, right? If you get sellers to push through these levels, you can get more size on to push you down into that overnight low. I mean, start with VWAP, but overnight lows aren't out of the realm of possibility, right? To kind of get you some of these longs just completely annihilated. 18,687.50. That gives you a decent risk to reward. Let's see how high up it goes. Microsoft's curling downside now. I don't know how high we could take this, right? Who knows how high we could take it? Realistically, I was talking about potentially 19,000. Based on fib extensions, 19,400 is not unreasonable. I'm not saying today, but as near term targets, maybe end of the week, next week. Not end of the week this week, but end of the week next week, possibly somewhere in that 19,000 range. But you probably would like to pull back into that 18,687 again before maybe rallying. But that was a nice little pop, pull back into it and push up. Like I said, I talked about it here. This once again, the same thing as yesterday. That lower high, that higher low, rotate back through a key level, back through up into VWAP, like. Everything I talked about there made a lot of sense after this breakdown that I really wanted to catch there. So 2 really good moves there that hopefully you were able to capitalize. And then obviously the squeeze through, the long through 706 and then now continuing to hold on to it. Then long through here, up through all-time highs, still starting to get that higher wedge pattern. See if this first area holds. Microsoft bending downside. NVIDIA pushing up a little bit, but still in that liquidity zone. I like that S&P lower high. Divergence type move. Do we do that? We get tight into the bodies there. Russell's still on those opening range lows. It's funny because I like to see the Russell be sort of a leader in this environment, especially with like all these Mag 7 names not doing the same type of action that the price is doing here in this in the micro and the NQs and the S&Ps, right? If this breaks and holds here, then maybe we look to cheat in with one, but I don't think it's ready yet. Price pushing up, delta staying flat could give you that indication that we are looking to get heavier. Still above that first upper band of VWAP, which it usually doesn't like to stay above that. It usually likes to pull back down through it, right? It'll ride it and then it'll pull back from it. If it holds below it, usually when it comes back to it, it'll pop back up. So holding above it, pulling back down through it. We can see if that upper band acts as our entry criteria. Wow, AMD is absolutely mooning. What's SMCI doing? SMCI flat. AMD just caught a great bid, that's all. Money flowed right into AMD. Hopefully you're shorting the meme stocks. Usually, if you get this kind of pop, the VWAP was going to kind of ride up with you. Right now, it's kind of lagging some, so the volume is not quite there as much as the price is pushing up, right? So I will watch this to see, like you could see, Delta not pushing up. You got the divergence here. Price is going up. Delta is holding lower highs. But if it does crack this, then potentially watch for it to give that next leg up. Maybe that VWAP catches up. Then you short through that VWAP area, rotate it back down. That's the idea there. It's very hard because you're trying to pick tops in a blow off up, all-time high environment. Last time we were in all-time high type environments, 9Q1. Let's go back to the 30. We'll go to the daily and we'll go here and we'll take off our drawings. So last time we got into this type of environment where we pulled back a decent amount and rallied. We ended up going through the all-time high and never really looking back. The pullbacks were usually after a few days. And right now we're not in like blow off top mode yet, quite yet. I'm going to show How is it now? Is it working? Did it work? Yes or no? No? Yes? Okay. I don't know what the fuck's going on with this thing, man. Very confused. I had my computer just decided to die yesterday on me, so I tried to. Yeah. Hi, but bye. Peace out, Jofi. I don't know what happened with this. Get rid of this. Oh. It's because the other screens don't have the mic correctly set now after I added that. So anytime I switch off to the other charts, it screws up. Is it working on this screen now? All right, we're in on that short there. Later, Jovi. Appreciate you as well. Once again, distracted by my microphone issues, but I think that the sell comes in through this overnight pre-market high. I would have liked to have shorted up here. I said I wanted to get one contract on, got distracted, didn't get that contract on, so now I have a little bit extended risk, but I want to see if I could get a little bit further into this. Risking to the highs of the day, which will give me basically no more bullets in the gun. See if this flush will come in here. Like I said, these other names are not following through the same way. So now that you can see that the all-time high broke out, failed to break out, looking to come back into the previous all-time high, hopefully break it down some more and rotate through the lows. Microsoft has sold off pretty heavily. Nvidia also, ticked down below that 953 number. So these are things that I'm interested in as far as, does the short continue to pile in? And S&P is accepting below their all-time high here, that all overnight level does help my cause for this to kind of accelerate to the downside as well. So I wanted to, like I said, get in up in this range. Didn't get in there at 60 to 40. That's 20 points that you missed out on, but it's all right. We can still maximize our gains here through this level. Now I got to kind of mitigate through this high. And I'll take 2 off at VWAP. Did I get through that band? Obviously, right? I said once that band cracks, you probably get a lot of selling to come in. And what do you know? That happens. Russell catching a bounce. If I get stopped on this because of the ad, it is what it is. I wanted to do the ads this way and then be able to get some off down here without really gaining much risk, but it seems like it wants to bounce a little bit here. Delta gave you a nice heavy wick through into 730, which is the value area high. I want to see if we can get back into the value area high and accept in that area. See if it goes, or if my trade is just going to get invalidated through that overnight high again. Can we get through 33? S&P's got right to VWAP. We didn't get to VWAP on the NQs, so relatively strong, not necessarily strong in what I'm thinking as far as this is going to not pull back. I think we could still get to VWAP, but I want S&Ps to continue to push into their VWAP to help this thing to the downside, right? I don't want to get back up over overnight highs now with that wick test. If it does, then it probably breaks and goes higher, and I don't want to be involved through that level. So we are going to, like I said, mitigate our loss above that level there. If it goes, it goes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I have to just accept this risk and move on. This is my levels to play. If it works, it works. If we can get through this low again, this 30, then potentially look to kind of even tighten up even more. it wants to be heavy, right? You can see the heaviness piling in. Delta pushing lower, accepting into value now. 720 is that point of control. So 720 is something I would be watching as well. If we can flush this low, it'd be great. Get through the low. Come on, you're heavy. Get heavy. Nvidia's selling, Microsoft selling. There should be a little bit more heaviness left in this through that low. If I can get through the low, then I can move my stop to even, and then I can just let it kind of try and get the VWAP. Over this previous wick here, 50 bucks. I didn't want to drop it on accident and then get stopped out beforehand. So if it gets stopped out over there, it's fine. Excuse me. You can see Delta still being heavy, still pushing, still below our value area high, which is attempting to reject. It doesn't want to go. Doesn't want to get me in there and deep fast enough. Get stopped out for that loser there because I tightened up over that wick. S&P's bounced. That's why I want to get out.
Order filled.
Money. Money, money, money. Well, like I said, once again, entry, and then I end up getting myself in and adding and put myself behind the 8 ball on some of these moves. Get some espresso in me, get myself back in the groove here, seeing these things happening in real time. I mean, I'm calling them out, saying that this is where I want to get myself involved on a cheat short, maybe a 1 contract. Allows me to limit my risk down here, add that second. If I have that second, I can take that first off. You know, it's really just managing your position a lot better. It's just my shit executions over the past 2 weeks. Trading tight. Alrighty. All right, I'm going to take a quick 30-second bathroom break. I'll be right back. There's the short. After you get stopped out, you leave your stop alone at that overnight high, all-time high, and you're safe. Once again, just another overmanaged trade by the policing pips man. All good in the hood. Just taking losers when you shouldn't. Get rid of this because it's no longer valid. Get rid of that. It is probably useful, but we're not going to need it. 10:22 a.m. Looking to see what happens with this 30-minute. Do we accept back below this previous high here at 7:38, or do we kind of putz around with it a little? This is what I was talking about right here. Here's your delta divergence, clear as day. All right, let's go with, I guess it's a rectangle. There's your setup. Exactly how I like it. Over a key level, you start to get this rising wedge pattern. Then you come down here, you look at your delta. Look at that. Delta giving you lower highs, price giving you higher highs. You get to the point where this is about to break. Where is that candle? Right there. You got a breakdown delta candle where it's getting heavier through lows while price is trying to continue to make new highs. You're not getting there. There's the follow through down. I mean, even if you wanted to like actually box this out, you got a breakdown on that delta right there, and you got price to break down right through that level as well. So here's the setup. A plus, beautiful move. Could have executed right there and have taken zero heat on it. And, you know, even if you got stopped out up in here, I mean, you're risking very little. At most, you could, you know, justify saying that you keep it a few ticks above. If you wanted to risk $200 on this to make 6 on that move, I mean, realistically, kind of pretty obvious there with that delta divergence setup. Got to stop worrying about microphones and fucking stream stuff, and maybe I'll be back in the groove a little bit. But until then, we're going to just continue to hammer away and see what we can do to get ourselves back in the groove. You got a little bit of a lower low here, lower low here. Price delta trying to push back up. Price not making new highs. S&Ps did catch a little bit of a bounce off of its VWAP, double bottom there. So maybe the break back above the all-time high here is going to happen. But let's see, 5 more minutes till that 30-minute close. Does the 30-minute candle close over the high, or does it hold below that level? We got to see. So that all-time high came in at that level right there. Let's call it 18,739. That'll be my line in the sand as far as where this 30-minute should close to see if it'll continue on through these all-time highs or if it's going to break above. Right, it's right there, but I'm putting it on the trading view chart. Perfect move there. I mean, I love that move. That's really beautiful. Excellent move there to the downside. Setup was ideal. This was, you know, even in no man's land, even in all-time highs, it still works. It's clear as day with the delta divergence strategy. You know, they're getting limited buyers to come in up here, right? It's just kind of likely that it does come in. Just unfortunate that I didn't get it to fucking worry about microphones and shit. I apologize. Sometimes it's frustrating. That is my A+ setup, American. Absolutely 100%. I'm glad you caught it, Ray. Good stuff. As long as I'm providing value to somebody, and if it's not myself, then it is what it is. But as long as somebody's making money out there because of some of these ideas that we have coming in here, that's a good sign for the stream to continue on in perpetuance. Let's see if we can get some funding. Maybe that'll make me happy today. Get another XFA going. Switch over to a combine. Be a little aggressive on it. Especially when you're all-time high levels, you really gotta trust some of these ideas. You have a heaviness in delta. You don't have the follow through that you're looking for right there. S&P's is trying to tick up a little bit. Russell's still holding below the opening range low. Bounced off of 2109. Nothing doing there. Delta kind of creeping up a little bit. If you crack this high again, maybe get another squeeze up. 50-50 on the tilt. This is a combine, so we will take a heavier long position. This is just the combine. I switched over from the XFA so I don't burn it. Looking to see what we can do here on this. If it does break this high, previous all-time high level, 2 more minutes left in this 30. Possibly look to get back above it and close up there. Game time, baby. Game time. Let's go, deck. Let's see if we can't get this thing to kind of run up on us a little bit. Oh, I switched to micros, so it's still on micros. That's fine. Let's stop. Let's do this with the micros. See what happens. Let's see what kind of power micros have here. If we do get a squeeze pop and they get filled on 10 micros, which is the equivalent of 1 full contract. That's why there's only money, man. Hell yeah, dude. Come on now. Push up, pop up over this previous all-time high, overnight high level. See if we get a little bit of a squeeze action here into that 30-minute close. Close this as more of a doji type candle, indecisive, but also kind of decisive, being held up over that level and closing in that area, right? So that's kind of what I'm looking for here as far as that's concerned. Looking to sell half of that position at 48.50, kind of front running the 50 number, just the base of this breakdown. If it doesn't happen, then it's all right. But that's where I'd like to see it get filled. And then I'm going to let the rest of it kind of squeeze on up, see what 5 micros could do for us, or 7 micros. See if we can get 5 micros off here. Getting close to it. Wants to tick it. Doesn't quite want to hit it. Did not get filled on that. Not yet, at least. 10:30 hits. 30-minute candle closes up and above that 739 level, 738.75. So still bullish on that. If you are interested in the shorts, the deck wants to teach everybody how he does his stuff. I love shorting. I'm a huge short fan. I have a perma-bear at most things. However, this market is rigged at the moment to go on straight up. But if you want to learn everything he teaches, go over to his room, and he's teaching his shorting class as we speak. And he's offering 30 days free of TradeCaster, so you can go head over to his room and learn from the best, right? Over here you got futures. Over there he's going to be dumping crap stocks. Everything that's pumping, he's going to be dumping it. Still not getting filled on this. See what the delta's doing. 65% long, still okay. I think we, still have a stair step on this delta here. A push up into that 752, that upper band of VWAP potentially gives you that magnet to it. That's why I kind of want to front run that first little 5 cell, but it doesn't want to kind of follow through on this break above this level. So this is a combine. We are going to look to try and pass it. Get ourselves another XFA, get back into a nice rhythm with a nice little bit of drawdown. But we're not giving up on the other XFA. We're trying to dig that thing out of a hole after trading our executions a little bit poorly over the last 2 weeks. Like I mentioned, overnight I took a short. Caught about $200 on that short. Could have caught more. Got stopped at an even because I took off half of my position. But it's fine because I didn't want to go to bed going in trying to lose money. So I set that stop order at even, got stopped out at even, but took off half the position. So made some okay money on it on a sleep. It's nice to make money while you sleep. If this doesn't break out here and fill us, then I want to be at even anyway. Come on, fill us up at 5. Fill half of that position there. Come on now. Just a few more ticks. Probably breaks through that and pops, but I still want to take off half, not get greedy on it. All right, so we're at even. We took out another half. We're up 260 on this account. See if we can get a little bit more out of this squeeze. I'll take off so 2 here. 2 right there at 56. Just kind of using structure to our advantage. And then if I have 8 on, so if I can kind of leave a little bit of a hopefully a runner for this all-time high pump. We love to pump all-time highs. 30 minutes left in the stream. Let's see what we can get going on some micros here. The power of micros. You can see that we're, long about 8. It was not quite a full mini anymore. I took off 5 here at 48. That ended up netting us a whole, it's not going to tell me correctly. 5 there, 50, 70 bucks, 80 bucks. So we took off about $80 off that little first pop. Because I added 10 through here because I thought we were on, I thought we were in minis. I screwed up there. I forgot that I switched to micros for the funded account. So we're just managing this mini position. We're not FOMOing into anything else. We just building that buffer up one good trade at a time. We'll go ahead and secure that bit. There's that squeeze that we were so worried about the happening. That's why our shorts definitely didn't work out. This one did. Damn, that breakout point did not fill us. We're not getting there yet. We're almost to that fill at 56.75. Could front run it a little bit more. Just get myself filled with 2 off. I'll get 2 off if it tickles the top of that wick again. I'm not looking to get greedy on 2 contracts, right? I'll take two more ticks off. If that doesn't get filled, to the tick, I moved it as far as I really would have preferred there. We do want to secure just below this big breakout candle there, because if it does come back down below that, it'll probably stop us out anyway, because it should flush that point. Did not get filled to the tick. It's crazy. Probably get stopped on that.
Order filled.
There we go. Up 348 on this combine here. Down 6 on the funded account. 6 honey. Let's go to regular full NQ here and actually make some executions that matter. I'll take 348 every day in the funded account. That would have been nice to have today. However, I did not. I will look for a short here. Stop sell 2 guys. Look for a failure of that level through that 839. Failed breakout. Delta pushing down. You have Delta trying to make another low. Price trying to push through highs. Wicking off this bottom. I think if you crack through here, you could push into the lower end of this, because you did grab that breakout, that where we broke down from before. You could have a secondary breakdown. And this is just going to be a quick hitter with the full mini on. Getting close to getting filled on this short idea here. The lower high here, lower high here. Just a little bit there. Very nice. Lower high, wick double tweezer top there. You have a delta pushed through that low there. So if we do get a crack of this level, then the price should go and follow up with delta. Aggressive sellers coming in below that level of 41. I think if we get through this overnight high, which is that yesterday pre-market, pre-all-time high, I should say, right there, overnight all-time high. So if we could flush it, should give us a nice heavy flush.
Order filled.
There's a heaviness. I'll go to even on it. And now let's see if we can get some bigger flushes through 30. There we go. Seeing the market well. When I have the opportunity to do it, I do it all right. But I want a fast move, fast trail, right? That's my game. But I'll take $100 on this if it's going to come back and pop us out. I'll take one off here. Limit one there. Try and get one off at 29. Probably not going to get us. Do I keep it? Do I keep it? Do I keep it? It looks like it's a wick, right? All right, I'll take the $100. If it's going to continue down now, that's cool. But that was a really nice move there. I would have liked to, with two contracts, like to have gotten that first one to have a limit order there at the bottom at 277. That's just not taking a base hit through a flush point. I liked it. You saw exactly why I took that, right? That big heavy flush should come in and then it should continue on. It's not continuing because we're going to kind of be rangy up here. However, I do want to see it pop back up and I'll try it again and then see if we could take one off at this 27 level. So pop back up, get up into that 44 or even, you know what? I'll sell two right through this level here. I'll take one off at the base of that candle, limit by that. That's a nice little area there. This is me trading a little aggressive on the combine. 1040. Let's see if we can get one off. Quick, fast moves, fast trails. I take my breakout. I take my evens. I take my break even on that based on that wick. And now I wait. See if I can get back up over that overnight high. I think if you can crack through this 27, this area here, then it does flush down to VWAP. Except that's another higher low. As I mentioned, another reason to watch your delta here. Right here, you're getting higher highs. Once again, you can see that you get some wick off at that upper band of VWAP that we were watching. You have this same idea here, right there, and right here. Once you got VWAP, I mean, you got the upper bands of VWAP, you got price rejecting. This is the point where we broke down from before. You got a rising little wedge pattern. Once this delta breaks, you hold below, delta breaks and gets heavy. You can see now delta trying to tick up, price trying to hold the lows. If you get a break of delta again through the low, then maybe that's when you start to actually get the flush. But right now you can see that's reasoning for concern to hold on to your short. So another reason here for you to kind of be mindful of what's going on with delta. This is something to go back and review. If you do, oh, absolutely. Cheers, brother. Oh, I always love when I do that. I leave this drawing tool up. So there's a crack of 30. Probably get that fill of 27 would have happened there. Right. Probably. Maybe not. Maybe get a bounce. 54% short on the tilt. Delta is trying to make higher higher lows here, and prices kind of just lingering around these lows, not quite following through. So if you get a pop back up, watch this being a longer term wedge. And then if this breaks through here, watch for this to be the upper end. And then if it cracks through it, watch for new all-time highs. Every day, all day here on tradecaster.com. And when I say every day, all day, I'm here on 8:30 a.m. Central Time to 11 Central Time, trying to show you the way in the futures markets, mainly trading the NASDAQ, always observing the S&Ps, and checking in on the Mag 7 names. We talk about divergences, money management, how to add positions, how to trail positions. You got a bigger buyer on the bid here at 35, 34, 35. Just got filled. I don't know if it's a full fill here for a larger size order, but 20 lot, 10 lots, probably a couple hundred lots filled here at 30, 35. So watch for this push back up over that overnight high, which was what we took before. There's a push. I think that does give you another leg up here. I will look to take a buy above here. Quick little grab. I'm not looking to do anything crazy. Just looking to get base hits out of this. Maybe up to this area here first. Set a limit. Sell right into that area there. If we fail it, then that could get really heavy fast. So just be mindful of that as well. But overnight high shouldn't fail. So that's why I get really kind of tight with it, with my stop. Really tight risk. The reward up there. What's up, Scrooge? My day has been going pretty shitty, to be honest with you. I've been executing poorly on my XFA, so I switched over to the Combine. And now I've done pretty well in the Combine. But, funded account today, not doing so great. I traded it too tight is really what it is. I just tried to take this long through the overnight high, which is the previous all-time high. Share it up, man. Share it up. I'm looking for a squeeze through this previous all-time high and the overnight high. Trading view, 5-minute candles on the SPY. Let's see. I'm going to go to even quick so I just keep getting myself distracted by other things. So let's see. SPY chart. SPY, 5 minutes. Moving average cross. All right. It's on. Is it this one?
Order filled.
Yeah, I'm going to stick it even with that because I'm not paying attention to it. I'm listening to Scrooge McBucks here. See what he has to say about this moving average cross thing. Crosses, it confirms the movement. So we got a cross here. It pops, and then here, I guess these plus marks are like entry points. Hell yeah, that's cool. I like it. Whatever works for you, I dig it. I technically don't use moving averages at all, but I like having something to add to the playbook. My data here in SPYs is like orange on top, enter bull, green on top, enter bear. Green on top, enter bearish. Orange on top, enter bullish. Does it actually work in real time? Or is this lagging and plotting post? I'll watch it over time. Let's see if it works on the NQ. NQ1, 2. Since I don't trade SPY, I don't trade equities at all anymore. Let's see. Orange on top, bullish. Green on top, bearish. I like it. Very nice. You let the candle close on the 5. This one failed. This is a longer term one. This one's nice. But you can see the wick on this is clear. I mean, I was talking about this long here pretty confidently that was going to come into play there. Yeah, it's not. Equities definitely gives you different kinds of signals than the futures does. But I like it. It's cool. I may consider keeping it on there, but for now, it will go away if I can figure out how to get rid of it. There we go. I appreciate you. Always appreciated to get new little insights into things. Oh, absolutely. For sure. I mean, theoretically, moving averages make sense as far as those crosses are concerned because they are based on price action. They are based on time and, confirmation. So if one period is moving a little faster than other time frames, then that will make a lot of sense for it to go at those times. We are now starting to form a little bit of a wedgie type pattern here. If anybody's in need of coffee, head over to daytradingcoffeeco.com, daytradingcoffeeco.com. Use my username Policing Pips for 15% off. You can get yourself a cool mug. Some coffee to fill it with here. Look at the bullish mug because it's bullish today. It's bullish every day on caffeination. Yeah, so looking to try and grab another XFA here on Top Step because my other one, I'm really trying to fight myself and do. I've called out pretty much every great entry today. I talked about long through the 87 level. Then I decided that I was going to be funny and try and short that 87 level later. And I didn't execute this one. I did execute that one, but I really wanted my entry to be below 85, 86. Got wicked in at 87 and then stopped out. And then I was talking about how this short was very likely to come into play. I entered just prior to the hourly close, which is against my rules because I was not fully focused on what I should be doing. So I missed that. I got wicked out and then it followed through there. So that really drew me down and I started getting into micros. And I took a couple base hits. Then I took one loser on the micros. So really we are drawn down about 643 on that account. So I'm shutting that one down for the day and looking to trade the combine until I get off in about 10 minutes. So let's see if we can get a little bit of a pop, see what kind of delta we got going on here. Price giving another little wedge. Delta has flattened out. Price has flattened out. You're getting a little less volume here. We are at the value area high of volume. Point of control down here at 720. VWAP down below. We rejected that upper band once. We tried to poke our head over this, previous all-time high, overnight high more than one time, and it hasn't followed through. So we're going to watch to see if Delta gives you any sort of confirmation through this level. Could give you that little bit of a pop. And if that fails, then a breakdown of this level does make sense as well. NVIDIA is holding that 953 level, but just kind of very similar to the NQ. It's kind of just floating there. AMD has just been going straight up. Microsoft has just been chopping around on the lows, trying to push through lows once more. I think really the sell does want to come in again, except it's just not quite following through. So maybe we get a wick off high here. Do we get a delta divergence? Kind of. Yep, we did. So we got a lower high in delta. We're trying to make new highs in price. Right? You can see that there. Once again, right here. delta making lower highs, price making equal or higher highs, right? Oop. Wherever that ends up, wherever this ends up, we'll watch it, right? Making new highs. I would say that area, that 745 area, is a low volume area. So if it does break through there, you get up into 748. If you reject it, you push down through the 739. Looking at this divergence to see if it'll play out the way we normally like to play it. I'm going to take it through that overnight high and see if I can get, like I said, one off here, limit buy here. This is what I would like to do on this trade. Continue this downside pressure. Microsoft, I would like it to crack the lows, get down through into 423. Didn't want to do that yet. It's giving it a little bit of a wick on the bottom, so it could rotate up one more time with NVIDIA poking its head over 953. I mean, it just doesn't have that I want to get broken out type action quite right now, but it could. This long here could have ended up getting that one out on this push. I'd say up to 748. If it pushes up into 748, fails and comes back down into this wedge, I would watch the breakdown of the overnight high to come in there. Timing wise, 2 more minutes till I really shouldn't be entering any trades, but on the combine, I'm a little aggressive, so just be mindful of that. I'm drawing these up just so you could see them. I don't normally draw up the divergences, but you could see when price makes new highs and delta makes new lows, price is making new highs, delta making new lows, you get a little bit of follow through on these plays, right? Watch that breakdown or hold. Realistically, it's that there. Does NVIDIA want to go high side or does it want to fail this 93 level? We'll wait and see. I think if NVIDIA does start to break down, then you do get more follow through on this move. Oh. I always hate when I have these charts up. I can't. I don't want Microsoft. I want NASDAQ. There we go. Microsoft broke through the low there. Oh, the more recent low. I'm not saying the low of the day, but broke through the more recent low. Looking to get some pushback. I would like to see this whip up into 48s and then fail the overnight highs. But if it doesn't and respects this trend line, the overhead resistance, then I do believe that we do have the ability to crack this overnight high down through and get back into that 27, 28 area where I could get one contract off and then hopefully follow through down into that previous day high there, which was that other all-time high level. So let's see if it triggers. Let's see what kind of move we get out of it. Like I said, this is a combine. We drew down a bit on our morning session with our XFA, so we're looking to see if we can maximize our gain on the combine, get ourselves closer to getting a second XFA again, and go from there. I have no issues getting funded, and I also have no issues while I'm being funded, but lately I've been just kind of second guessing a lot of certain entries and then also being a little too tight on certain things that are normally, I'm tight, but I'm not that tight, right? I usually get good follow through on my moves. I'm able to maximize my gains quite a bit, but we're not getting that same kind of push of late. So looking to try and just do our best here to get something going. Stream's going to end here about 3 minutes or so, give or take. We'll see if this trade triggers, and then I'll manage it and then hop off. As always, I really do appreciate everybody who comes by all the time. We try our best to provide value. Even when I'm struggling, I think I do give good enough levels, good enough execution talk about what may happen moving forward, and you can make your own good decisions from there. I'm not a signal service. Yeah, it'd be great if I made money every single day. Technically, we'd probably be pretty close to even at this point if I didn't have to flip off of that XFA due to drawdown. But, it happens. If anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, anything that they want to bring up before I hop off, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to see you guys all 8:30 a.m. for the open tomorrow morning. Hopefully, we can bounce back on the XFA. Hopefully, we can gain a few more combine wins here so we can get closer to getting a second and third XFA and get ourselves back into a nice little rhythm. Like I said, I'm seeing the market really well. The levels are playing out really nicely. Just a matter of execution and trade management. Normally, my trade management is pretty good. I can see my levels and I can work on them accordingly. But, once you start to hit into that drawdown period, you get really tight. I think you need to just learn how to avoid that. I need to still learn how to avoid that. I think it's just a pattern thing that happens. Let's see if this gives a flush here at 11 or if it's going to pop and squeeze me out. Nope, Delta popped up prior to that, so that was interesting. Get heavy with the Delta, maybe we could see what happens here. Congruent Delta, we got a little bit of a price action. This is very messy, don't really like it. I hate having so many things drawn up on my charts. This was just me displaying it for everybody while I was talking through it. So kind of getting rid of all these things here that don't matter anymore because the trades are done. I like that one the best out of all of these for you. As far as the descriptive nature of what that actually displays. There you go. There's a push. Heaviness. Should not come back above this candle here. If it does, then I'm going to get stopped out for a small loser. But the opportunity to take one off down there at the lows would be ideal. Once again, waiting to see if that flush comes in. Give it to that overnight high. If it breaks back above this candle, obviously I don't want to be in anymore. It is 11 a.m. here in Houston area, Central Time. Looking to catch this short through there. You can see the strategy working out beautifully. I'm going to go to break even on this. Now we see if we can get that one contract off down there at the bottom. I could have front ran it a little bit better probably down at 30, but let's see if 28 gets cracked. I would like to see it get, before we didn't get filled on the other one. So let's see if we can get ourselves filled on one contract here. Order filled. There we go. Now we're going to get the flushes on. Fast move, fast trail. There we go. Beautiful short down to the VWAP. I'm going to use VWAP as my stop. And we're out for a nice little $1,000 there. Pretty nice move to end the stream there. It's showing exactly what I like to see on my moves. Tagging out at VWAP. This could get heavy. Could rotate down even further. But to me, just take your money and run. Get those gains. Get moving. Get closer to funding this XFA, locking myself out of that account, right? Making the $1,000 on that last push down is fantastic, right? If I would have left the two contracts on, yeah, it could have been more, right? But at the end of the day, we're not looking to, catch home run. We're going to secure some of our profit, and we're going to let this thing, especially in this environment where everything is seemingly not following through in our direction. I'm going to take a piece off and then trail that second one out pretty fast. So hopefully you were able to catch what I just showed there at the close of the stream. If you liked it, hit the like button on YouTube. If you didn't like it, hit the thumbs down. I don't care, whatever. Interact with the video on YouTube. Comment. Let us know what you think. head over to tradecaster.com. We stream this stuff every single day. Although I didn't capitalize on it on my XFA, my combine's up $1,000, and I can't be mad about that, right? We talked about the delta divergences, right? This was a key delta divergence here for a nice little short that you got there. Same deal here. Got a nice divergence, sold off there. And then here we also got, we were pushing through highs, making lower highs in delta. We wedged out, failed to break out through the overnight high, rotate straight down the VWAP. That's how I like my moves every time. Would have loved to have taken that on the XFA, brought myself back to even, but I'm not going to do that. So overall, like I said, down a little bit on the XFA, up 1,000 on the combine. So net, we're up, but realistically, we just got too tight with that XFA. Once that drawdown comes into play, it's very difficult to manage your positions appropriately. Just got to catch myself a nice little winning streak and then build that back, and then I'll be able to maximize them just like this, right? Like I said, every day, 8:30 Central till 11 lunchtime-ish. That's our last trade. That last trade was 2 contracts off. The first contract off for 165, second one off for 470, and we had a $300 winner up here. So that was a net short win of about 600 and change. With taking one off, taking the second one off at VWAP pretty much exactly. So that was a really nice move. Pretty much expected at these highs, the way that the lack of follow through was coming into play at these all-time highs. Just kind of, we cleaned it up enough to where I anticipated that short would probably come in right there at 11 o'clock. And what do you know, at 11, we got our full move. 11:01, we got out. So you could possibly fill it up again if you're holding. Potentially look for that. Flush down, there you go, pushing down further. So watch previous day highs as another area of resistance. Hopefully tomorrow we don't have microphone issues. I can fix my computer. Everything will get back to normal, and our accounts will be much better. We'll take our funded account back into positive territory on a Friday, and this combine we'll look to try and get past either tomorrow or early next week, and then we'll have another XFA ready to go. And so hopefully you guys are able to see the power of futures trading here. Just one good trade is all it takes to kind of get yourself into a nice rhythm and get back into the groove. So overall, hopefully everybody saw that watches frequently. If you're here and you're new here, that's the kind of moves that we like to take day in and day out. If you want longer term type moves, this is a great area of entry for a longer term move down to overnight lows. And hopefully if you're short, it never ends and it just continues on and on and on downside. However, a realistic target is 18,687.50, 687.50, right? That was that point from prior where that was our previous breakout point and our flush point where we got would have got long from down here to go to the high side. So watch at 687.50 if you're watching that downside for the rest of the day. If the overnight lows come into play, watch for a flush of them, but also be mindful that they could bounce off of that overnight low, even down into 637.50. So that 640 area as well could be a nice target zone. So just trail it out as you see your trails working for you. If you're building into bigger positions in this kind of area, this is the type of trade you should be looking for that high of the day rotation, right? Especially through lunch hour. Overall, like I said, I'll see everybody again tomorrow morning, 8:30 Central Time. And we will look to, like I said, either get this combine into funded and then also get our XFA back into a nice little green streak. Today will be the 29th day. So tomorrow marks 30 days in this XFA. I've drawn myself down quite a bit, and unfortunately, I'm going to have to go micros until I can build out a buffer on it. But overall, like I said, good executions on the combine, able to let it breathe a little bit better, and then, as you get to draw down, try not to force in trades and make yourself some better decisions as you move forward. So until tomorrow, like I said, 8:30 Central. Hopefully we have some better streaming, no issues tomorrow morning, and then we'll go into the weekend with some nice wins and be happy. So I'll talk to everybody tomorrow, 8:30. Be here on the open. I'll talk to you later. Deuces.